When I first started trying to go to medical school, I thought for sure, heck, gosh darn, the studying, the memorizing were going to be so gosh darn difficult. I had to wait until I got better at learning. And never considered how simple and how easy people could walk up next to me, come up to me with their finger pointing, and not only assault, not only question, not only limit, but do the same work with no money spent, possibly a book checkout card from the library, just getting some information in the cortex, and having a system with processes better than the neuroscience, the cognitive neuroscience, the psychology, the psychiatry, the neurodevelopmental psychiatry, the spontaneous brain, the brain and the master and its emissary, the brain, body, mind world, in a lot less time. And way less energy. And the difficulty with being inspired and motivated with these people around me, not once in a while, not every so often, every second, every day, for infinity. Keeping track, following my speed, and conversationally echoing what I say. The simulation everyone talks about philosophically nowadays has to do with what these folks, these people are doing in their lives in the world. They're proving their theory, their video game idea, and stopping progress from being made on an object floating in outer space called Earth. And they're accomplishing their task and their purpose and their goal from the speed of emotion. Going back to the psychology and the psychiatry and the information, the data, accumulating, and now available on this device, this phone, this video recorder, on the internet, on the computer, on the library screen, on the university monitor. Behavior. Stimulus, chemicals, hormones, descriptions about the brain and mind and body, self, ego, fat, obese, anorexic, jacked and strong and buff. Pupil dilation, pupils, eye color, hand shapes, words, racism, language, violence. With the requirement, either you say exactly what needs to get said now and describe what's being described concisely, summarized, precisely exact, perfect. Or you're a bitch, they say. You're a person who wants to tear down the wall and kill the whole building with your kitchen knife in your kitchen, answering the door when someone's kicking it in with their foot. Depressed, with an emotion of sadness, and towards the bottom of 4 miles deep, as a description for really trying to explain an important part of a college paper. There's this difficulty and this danger with disrupting a movement, with getting an activist aware, and a person next door hearing and the police arriving from the Seattle department. Ruffling the feathers of some fat, overweight, obnoxious, and violent dictator in a different part of Earth. A person who talks to another person through a wall and then says to them in person, "I already called police." Who hits the wall. Who's friends with people down there, over there, up there, around, over, through there, and feels more than what feels. The risk has to do with emotions, gay, neutral, racist, inconsiderate, stupid, and 1,000 other letters, 1,000,000 other words. Slave owners used to call people bad words. They used to use language to restrict their body. Emotions are now being used as a benefit to limit the brain and the mind. Not going so far as to limit the body, because then it gets to be fight, flight, or freeze. And freezing and dying in the street from a car hitting you, or freezing from having no heat in your home because the nausea and the malnutrition from vomiting are more painful than the death and the dying and the peace and the calm from just freezing to death. Staring at someone, watching them, listening to them, or allowing the emotion of the person doing those choices freedom, and restricting the person being kept track of visually, auditorily, and mechanically with an engineering object. Heat. To restrict the emotional impact, to eliminate the negativity they feel. And where the controversy occurs has to do with the less slow and really in-depth process of trying to resolve this description, this process, this part of the world, and getting into why the emotions would be important. Gay marriage, inequality, socialism. The only people on this earth, this planet, this object floating in outer space who can control the body are the government and their military, and the state and their police. And the health system and their workers. And other countries with their technology on the internet and their posting on Facebook and their political interference with communications devices.